fundraiser, right? I mean, it really is. It's a community service project, and I think we overlook that. I think it's become expected from spectators and attendees and racers and families that we're just going to do this. And then they're going to show up and everything is going to run great, and it does. It absolutely does. But, so just kind of keep that in mind when we talk about service projects. We say, bed build and so forth. I think we need to put Criterium in as a service project. Matt Tall with the city, the streets, the superintendent said this was the easiest setup and tear down that he's ever been involved with. And so that's terrific. It's always great to hear that from a city official. Matt Tall, by the way, always does a great job for us at this. So, pretty bold statement here. So I'll say some things today that, might be a little bit different. Night racing was my idea. It was my idea to bring it back when we were going to be at the city park, which was really an easier course to set up and probably monitor because we're inside the course and we can move around a lot easier course to tear down. And of course, as we all know, in June, we switched back to our course, our original course, and night racing had to continue. That's not an easy task. Dave Benton was unloading light towers Friday morning in the heat, helping to unload 8 light towers off a semi, to get those things in, set up, placed, and tear down. Mike Seminison just did an amazing job with that. So I'm going to make this very clear, right? Just be bold about this. If we can't find support, a lot of support for teardown, night racing is absolutely done. It's just out. That was insane of what people that were there had to deal with to get off that course after 1 o'clock. So we'll work through this, but it's a decision that needs to be made in the spring. High school groups, college groups, we don't need 50 people, right? We don't need that many, but we need fresh bodies to come in there at 11 o'clock for teardown. And so I owe it to the club, I owe it to the volunteers to make sure we're staffed appropriately to be able to handle that, because we're not going to do that back-to-back years. That was a tough gig. Downtown construction could be an issue for 2026. We do have an alternate course. I really did a Criterium and a half this year because of getting ready for that. Then we switched, but I say this was sort of spring training. Maybe it'll happen. I'm not sure. There's a lot of variables with that. The downtown construction, the entertainment zones future by cloudy. I don't mean that it's going to go away, but Goshen Commons is going to be under construction next year. That's where our entertainment zone is. So where do we go with the band and the beverages and the food? We'll figure it out, but it's just a little bit cloudy as far as where that could go if we're staying at the current course. The switch of using Big Shark start-finish line was a major home run. More on that in a minute. The community ride, which was new this year, was a success, I believe, and it's going to build. Using mats instead of hay bales was a win-win-win for everyone, starting with Market Basket, starting with people they had to unload those, timed various apparatus, but that was a great thing to switch. The streets were cleaner, the street sweeper wasn't handling that. The scrim light looked fantastic. Did that look good? The banners that were stretched out. And remember, that's also a safety issue for riders too, so if they fall, their arms don't go through the barricades, and when you're going 30 miles an hour, that's not a good situation. And we have it for an eternity. That stuff's going to last for years and years and years. The state troopers lead our race. I see no end in sight for that. In fact, they had a new trooper that was in training this year. Jerry Lacrone might be moving away from that. He was the guy that first came in. I think we're going to have him for as long as we say we don't need you. I don't know whether that would ever be. Need to evaluate expenses. It's not a cheap event to begin with. It's never going to be a cheap event. It just isn't. But I think there's some nip and tuck we could kind of take care of and do. Sometimes I have to make kind of quick decisions and just get stuff purchased or booked. But I think we can tighten those up a bit. Except for racer and spectator safety, there's no budget issues that we're going to cut with that at all. We haven't changed prize money since inception. I know I just said I'm not going to look at expenses. I think we're going to have to update, increase the prize money. You're going to see our racer numbers. They're not going in the right direction. That's not going to just sway 100 racers to come in, but we've been at $10,000 since the inception. Okay, it's still a good purse, but we have to evaluate that, especially at the pro level for payouts. So boosting numbers. Some of you have heard me talk about this, more one-on-one. How do we get the numbers up? Racers like to come in for at least 2 races. You know, Saturday, Sunday. The big boy and girl races have 3, 4, 5. Chicago Crit's 10 days. But there's the potential to get SIUE involved in this and have a road race. It's a completely different thing than a Criterium. It far fewer volunteers. Right? It's not even close to this. And it's a mile or 2 road race around the course. We have it all set up. But that would encourage people to come in for our event on Saturday and then switch to the road race on Sunday. We might be asked to become part of this American Criterium Cup. It's ACC, it's a few years old. It would be an honor to be invited into it. This is Boise, Salt Lake City, Indianapolis, Chicago, St. Louis. I'm missing somewhere else. But if we would become part of that series, then the prestige level of our race jumps. Also, the financial commitment is going to jump a bit as well. But it takes us from AAA to Major League if we're asked to participate in that. If we do that, and if we combine it with a Sunday race, okay, the road race, we'll need host housing because racers will come in from all over the nation. And anyway, so that's just some things in the makings that would probably have to take place to do that. But our racer numbers, which I'll show you in a minute, they would jump substantially. We had some adjustments this year which were positive. It was new. This is a crude picture from my cell phone. I couldn't screenshot the new website. Amber Krause helped develop a new website with her web developer. It looks fantastic. It's a lot easier to add things and change things and add videos. We needed to do it. The other one was in technology-wise, it was just off. But that was $1,200 in expenses that we paid to Amber's marketing person, not her. But anyway, but that's done, and that's done for years and years and years. We don't have to deal with that anymore. But the website got freshened. We have 3,300 Facebook followers. There were 55 posts from January to the event itself. That's a lot. And it keeps the public engaged. It's also a big time commitment. Amber is also involved in setting up systematic posts that just happen with that. So that was a good social media exposure. We also had Channel 4 this year, where I was invited to talk about the Criterium. And then also we went over to Channel 5 for their morning episode and had this great moment as well. So we had a lot of social media exposure. I'll talk about Lucas Bourgoin in a minute, but he's the face of Criterium Racing right now, and he's promoted us on Instagram, and it's only going to grow as well. So I think the social media exposure is going to continue. I'm going to kick this off with volunteers. And it was, here I go again. It was an emotional day. It was hot, it was overwhelming, it was dangerous. The heat was dangerous. We had a spectator go down on the courthouse lawn before the event due to heat exhaustion. I don't know what happened to her. She was okay, but it was scary. I mean, to see that an hour before the race, screaming, the kids are yelling. I mean, it was just a brutal day. And from the minute I woke up, I knew this was going to be a long commitment. And the volunteers stepped in from Friday for our barricade staging, okay? And also, there's Mike Seministon doing the new start-finish line assembly. He and Nick Ramirez got that thing wrapped up and decorated that night, and we got it put together. There's a group of people taking, so when you unload these barricade trucks, this is what we're talking about. And there was 2 of these trucks. That's how many barricades are involved. And unloading is the easy part. Loading is the hard part, especially at 11:30 at night after a long day and having to get all that assembled. There is a little bit as they're wrapping up, decorating the start-finish line. I thought it looked great. It was a lot cheaper than Clancy's was. And we also got it assembled and wheeled over at 11:15. Roads closed at 11. We had that thing up at 11:15. So that was a terrific finish. Something I said to Carrie? Remember that. Take care of that next week. So I just told them everything's okay with that. So that was certainly a positive. So let me see here. Hold on a second here. So volunteers. John McDowell sent sort of a recap to me with his thoughts as far as volunteers that really maybe put in a second or third or fourth shift. I wanted to point out a few. First of all, Dave and Ann, this entertainment zone, and also Gina. But Dave and Ann, you don't realize, I know it's their business and they do a lot of these, to prepare that beverage trailer, the supply, fill a backup trailer, be there for the generator to come in and the power and set everything up and pay people to come in. He's got a crew that comes in to do those things. And they're there all day and they're there all night, okay, to the end, and then they have to haul all that stuff away. Good. I get a round of applause for Dave and I know Dave is sitting there going, I'll do it every year, this is what we do, we love to do it, but I'm telling you, it's a huge time and a financial commitment, and of course they donate, you're going to get it for free, but they donate the consumption of the product at cost. So we're not paying for that, we pay for the product, anyway. So that's absolutely terrific. Mark, Shasha, Christy, you guys, registration every year. It's prep, it's leading up to it, it's preparing all the bibs, it's matching all the numbers and all the people, dealing with feisty race officials that are coming over going, we don't have the numbers yet, and the heat, and racers that day, and printing, it's very stressful. Round of applause for Mark and Christy. Okay. So some other sometimes I always talk about hating to mention names because then you forget someone who really made a commitment. But John wanted special mention to the Anderson family. You guys really brought it. Abel, Aiden, Colin, Owen, Jackie, right? Both set up and tear down. That was fantastic. That's a huge commitment. I think they were in that previous picture I was there. A couple of your family members. Is Mary Sullivan here? That darling was stacking barricades at 1 o'clock in the morning, back on trucks. And she was there earlier in the day, too. Where's Mike Bowling? There you are. And Emily, he goes, I don't think Emily was planning on moving barricades at teardown based on her outfit and Birkenstocks. But she was there, you were there, okay? You were there Friday night as well. Gina, Carolyn Green, Monica Snook for taking another shift after they had already signed up for some. Greg Williams, 14-year-old and 15-year-old sons were there for setup. Nate Tingley's 14-year-old son Ben was both for setup and teardown. That was terrific. Youth is terrific. I mean, it really is. John's daughter Audrey was there the entire time. EHS baseball team, thank goodness for them. They were there for setup. They put up banners. They put up scrim light. And Tim Funkhauser brought in a dozen or 15. That was a tremendous part of setup. EHS volleyball, I'll picture them in a minute for their help with the kids' races. Wasn't it great to see them running down the street, leading all the kids in? And EHS wrestling, Pat McNamara, they had 4 or 5 kids. They were a little bit light compared to previous years. That's a big thing, helping for teardown. as well. So I'm going to move past that because I'll start missing names. Nick, you were there. Nick was there for Friday night. He was there for setup, and he raced. More on that in a minute. It's like, do you ever sleep? 3 kids now, all girls. So anyway, so there's I want what you're taking. What was that line from that movie? I have what she's drinking or something. What was that? Sleepless in Seattle? Yeah, or something. So there's a picture of the trooper coming through for night racing. We're going to see how the heat impacted the crowd. I geofenced this every year. Well, last year I started. And so you think we were up or down this year? We were down. Quite a bit down. So I'll tell you, I think 4,000 of those people arrived for the kids' races and beyond, because it just went from no one was there to whoosh. And same with beverage sales. Went from a few $100 to, I think we ended up with around 7,000. It was $7,000 of sales in about 5 hours. I mean, just an amazing job with that. So yeah, we slipped a little bit. I don't know if you could really, especially once the night took place, you know, where you can't maybe see as many people as you will. There's some start to the community race, 40 or so. It'll build next year. The heat kept some people away that signed up for the community ride, I should say, not race. I thought it went quite well. SJ did a nice job of announcing that. The entertainment zone, there's a lead singer from Breakdown Shakedown. She did a great job. Someone told me she sang Barracuda, and they said, I have not heard anyone being able to sing that song as close to the original Heart. Is it Heart that sings that song? So they did a great job with it. Food zone, or entertainment zone's up in 11 hours. Food trucks and vendors, donuts, yeah, all in the Rotary Club tent. I thought that was great. We had that exposure. Thank you all for participating in that. There was a shot of the entertainment zone about 7:30. It was packed. And they all came in, kids racing later. So I wish we could have had that all day, but that wasn't the case. The kids zone with the 5 free racers and the normal giveaways. Even had cotton candy this year, the games. Boy, it was hot. I know the numbers were down in the zone most of the day. Can you really blame parents for that? I can't. Kevin, thanks for setting up the Gaga ball again. Yeah, with that was terrific. We had 192 kids race. That's only down 10 from last year. If you think about that for a minute, that's showing you how important this event is to families in the community. I mean, that's hardly moving the needle at all. And I was shocked when that first group came down. I'm like, I think that's the same number of kids as we had last year. So that was absolutely fantastic to see that many sign up. Isn't that a great picture? This is the stuff that keeps me going on the event. There's the volleyball team. They just did a terrific job with that. Thanks to Ryan Clellan for getting those volunteers in. That helped a lot. And I think they really enjoyed it. 183 cyclists versus 197 last year. The heat definitely impacted even before. Pre-registration wasn't that far off previous years, but you just had racers. Maybe they had a race the following weekend. Gateway's coming up in 2 weeks. Wanted to save their legs, and we're not an easy race. We're not just that way. But this is something that needs, we need to pay attention to this. So this is race numbers by the years. We had a remarkable number after COVID. 225 after COVID, hardly moving at all. Races, remember back then, they stopped across the country. They never had a race in 2021. They just quit. Now they're starting to come back. Okay, so that's a great testament. What happened between 23 and 24? Lindenwood shut down their cycling program. We would get 30 to 40 college kids over to race. Okay, so that was a big impact with that number. I think this is a one-off because of the heat, but when we start to talk about how do we get our numbers back up? Do we have a Sunday race, road racing, right? Not on our course. Do we have a 2-day race? Do we increase the pot a bit? I want to get these numbers back well above 200, and we certainly deserve to be well above 200. But I wanted to point that out to you guys, because this is the stuff I see, but it is a little bit, I wouldn't call it alarming, but it's concerning. The male-female ratio is pretty much like last year. Female participation in criteriums is just dropping. I can't speak to that, why it's happening, but around the nation, non-big races, numbers are way down. Well, I think they're down with men as well. It's not just the female end of that. CAM. Put $5 in the way out. So there's our Nick lining up for a call to the line next to, that's Tim, isn't it, Nick Smith, who won the race. It was just a horse. But let me tell you this, Nick wasn't even sure he was going to race, okay? He's got a lot going on, and I'm sure his training hasn't been the way it's been in the previous years. Tim Smith won in an hour, 1 minute and 36 seconds. He just took off. If you guys saw that. Lucas Bourgogne, who is the national hotshot, got left in his dust. Okay, it just happens every now and then. He couldn't catch it. He was a 1 hour, 2 minutes and 16 seconds. Brandon Ferry, who was our 2 years ago national champion, he's not in, you'll see him in the podium, but he was hour, 2 minutes, 25 seconds. So just a little bit behind Lucas. He had a heck of a ride. So there were 14 racers, 17. Nick finished 14th. How about a round of applause for it? I know you might think, oh, 14. There were 17 people within 4 seconds after Brandon. So when you say, Nick finished 14th, he wasn't that far off third place, and it was just this pack. So that's it. That's just a testament to his conditioning and skills. He's a Pro 1 racer. We had 12 states represented here. That was terrific, about what we normally have, so that's good to see that take place. There are the winners. I don't want to spend a lot of time on this today, unfortunately. No one really, we did have a back to Abby won the women's pro. She's back to back. There's the men's podium at about 11 o'clock. That's Brandon, third place. He was the national champion 2 years ago. His family's a great racing family. Just a super guy. There's Lucas Bourgogne, second place. He got taught a lesson at our race. He's winning everything this year, but it's good every now and then just be schooled and told you just can't get it all, when it's there. He says he's coming back every year. He loves the course. He will give us a lot of social media exposure, that's for sure. Tim Haar, Steve Grant, I said this a couple weeks ago, we had new record sponsorship. How about a round of applause for that? We asked more from our sponsors this year. We really needed to. Title sponsor is Busey. Presenting sponsors, I gotta keep moving along here. Races, sorry I can't take too much time. We're gonna be pinched on time. I'm staying in the way between you and $1,500. Corporate level sponsors, merchants. You guys want copies of any of this, I'm happy to give this to you for the list. There's our Preem sponsors. Okay. We had a new record revenue this year, $136,435. So that's race day registration, beverage revenue, that's pre-registration through bike reg. That's what that adds. That's the difference between the 122 and the 136 coming in that way. We were 120 last year, 123 in 23. The disappointing news, well, it's not disappointing. We also had record expenses. So leave it up to me, right? So $81,140. I think last year was around $78,000. Net profit of $55,000. We still have some bills floating around out there. Okay, just FYI, it's a great profit. Okay, it's not going to sway anything tremendously. Just a great event. Look at the profit through the years. Folks, we are knocking on the door of $400,000 in profit for Criterium. Okay, we got 1 minute to 1. Thank you all, thank you volunteers, and now we're going to move on with the 50-50. There are 6 cards left. Only I know where the card is. Where's the bucket? There it is. I'll draw it since I'm not in it. If you win it, I'm only asking for 10% of the proceeds. So it is a blue ticket, yellow ticket, 953. 953, come on up. You've probably been staring at that. You already know which one you want to pick. I can record it.
Okay. Anybody feel something? No, you're right. Okay. Even though we're not going to need it anymore.
Come on.
You did.
Come on. Show us that. Show us that. Loser.
That's so funny.
King, $10.
Oh my god.
I'll stand for 4 hotel.